This is going to be a big confidence booster if the Aussies can start with a round on the board. Get that pistol. It is a best of one. Pistols do, admittedly, in current state of Counter-Strike, perhaps not mean a lot. Pronax has got 2, though. Talking of the champion, now 1v1. Sync, the man who did get the bomb down, does have a Kevlar and 2 kills to his name already. Now being pushed by Twist. 1 bullet will finish the job, and he's going to go round, takes the fight. He can't find it. A fresh magazine is going to cost him, and that's 3 for Sync. That will be the Australians getting the first of the map.
Yeah, that's super nice. I'm sure you could hear the Australians shout as well, but I mean, look, this is some of the skill they're going to be going up against him. Yeah, and I think Lekro, if he doesn't hit that shot, I think he drops out of that window and he gets in a better position, but he was like, all right, I'm feeling it now. I mean, this is the tough part. I mean, now not only winning the pistol round is one thing, but going up against these Deagles, going up against these second round force buys that are so dangerous. Even pro teams haven't figured out quite how to be consistent against it. So a chance here again for Godsent to respond right back. Plenty of flashes and nades. I
do like what we've seen from Darkside here, though. Those 2 AKs, 3 UMPs. They're not falling into that kind of 5 UMP cluster mess. There you go. Let's not swear in the first cast, Alex. You know, like they've actually managed to keep some of that range. They're going to need it, especially. But these close fights, Twist, for example, here towards Palace, this is where that UMP is absolutely prime. 2 bullets to the brain. Will do all the necessary of the 25 he has, and oh, he couldn't find it. Twist actually does the same with a 5-7. Strafes out, gets himself a UMP, and now he's going to surely get traded. Oh, Texter couldn't connect the shots, and Pronax is there with the Deagle. Welcome to Counter-Strike 2017. Yeah,
Texter really trying to just find that 1 kill, find the trade. He knows Twist is low, but Pronax, great cover of his teammate as he falls back into the site. That's a 6 shot, and that's exactly it. Godsent lures him into a little bit of that setup. That's what you have to be careful about. And this is now, I mean, this is also Darkside. It's so spread out across the map. These Deagles, this is what they love. They want to find these long-range one-on-one duels. Now they have all the information. They know one's connector. They know there's one catwalk. And Schneider close up with the CZ. Not able to finish off that kill. Does decent damage, about half HP on Badge. And Lekro, he's here as well. Misses the initial shot, but the follow-up is perfect.
Yeah, he's never going to make that mistake twice. We know what Lekro can do with the Deagle. We saw it. Let's not forget what he did at Summit. That repulsive 1 versus 5.
Yeah.
That really, on cash, it was mind-boggling. But still, it does look like we are going to be seeing Godsent pick up that second round, unless Mr. Dick Stacey, all eyes on you. First LAN event for this youngster. Lots of eyes, especially from the Australian scene, going to be on him as he pushes forward and looks to be getting a little too aggressive with that one. It's going to cost him as Pronax gets himself kill number 2 with the Deagle and even recovers himself an AK.
Do you think Dick Stacey is actually his name? Isn't there that, like, Dick Tracy was, like, the detective, like the popular detective?
I don't know. I'm young, Jason.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was a little bit before your time, I guess. Well, that's a good conversation.
Yep. I wish I could help you, but it does. No, I'm telling you, it does sound familiar. Like
okay.
Dick Tracy.
Thanks for not throwing me completely under the bus.
Yeah, it's like a half throw. I kind of just nudged your arm in front of the bus.
Yep. And no smokes on the Darkside side. They have to rely on these Deagles. They've got a couple flashbangs, so that can allow the Tech-9s to get a little bit closer. Coming from underpass, that's going to work. And Pronax misses a couple, but he's got Doppler here to help him out.
This is actually going as well as it probably could have for Darkside. They can even get another one here if Dick Stacey can hit his shots. 25 note, dunked by Lekro Bryant. And now it's just going to be Flix. He has managed to get himself a rifle. That's going to be the start of something. The bomb is loose, and I don't think the CTs have seen it. They dropped it in that little doorway. I say that Schneider could find it now if he continues his aggression up mid and try and chase them off. But they look, I mean, look how little information they have now.
Yeah, that's kind of why they're backing off at the moment. You can see Schneider's just in a position where it's easy to hide. He can get some long-range intel, not a whole lot of danger there. So they really don't have any idea where Flix is, but they should be able to find it out pretty soon. The question is 50 seconds left on the clock. Flix can still go anywhere. That's really the dicey part, but this is a great information play from Lekro. He's going to be pushing up through these halls. He's going to be wrapping around. So Flix really has a time limit. I don't think he's going to be suspecting that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we talk about when we say killing noise, and Lekro's information does render them the round. But, I mean, he did just disappear. There wasn't. I like that we saw Godsent immediately realize that that's just not okay. We can't just put 1A, 1B and cross our fingers and toes. You have to push for it.
Good mid control, though. You can see the emphasis they have on that mid portion. And that's really going to be where the battle needs to be won and lost for Darkside. They need, once the gun rounds come into play, they need to be able to punish that. Because 3 players there for Godsent, if they're going to control that for the entire game, there's just not much you can do. And even with good damage in a force buy round, I mean, losing that, you can see there's really no danger for Godsent in this one.
Yeah, talking of not much you can do, these rounds are so demoralizing to concede. I mean, there it goes. 3 for Twist, 2 for Pronax, as they just walk out through a smoke with P250s and nothing else. I mean, that's just
a throwaway round, essentially. say, let's just get to the gun rounds, boys. We know with all Glocks, we just have to save as much as possible. But this is nice. Now they get the AWP in the hand of Badge, so managing the economy well enough to have that weapon. It's a crucial weapon. 4 smokes and a decent amount of flashbangs, so they can have whatever kind of mid-control setup they want.
I mean, this should be free mid-control, right? Unless the CTs are going to be peeking into or not with their M4. Actually, you look at that safe free mid-control. I just saw 2 jump underpass. I like it from Godsent. They realize there is an absence of an AWP, but they're going to take it, and Texter actually finds ahead. Look at that, a double trade in favor of the Aussies. That is 0 complaints there. The T's have the numbers.
Yeah, I think Schneider's going to be a little bit upset about that. Texa, I mean, he's not even clearing the angle. He's just pre-firing to look deep down. Wasn't expecting it whatsoever. Gets bailed out with a fortunate kill. Pronax is going to be stuck in connector, though, and actually this smoke, the trajectory is going to give him away. Dick Stacy's going to be right in front of it. This should be a kill. But no, he pre-fires it just too soon. Pronax finds him. And now Lekro, how aggressive does he want to get?
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
You know exactly where he is. Pronax has no idea, and then you give him 10-bullet warning that you're coming in. It's tough. Timing was a little off. And they do lose the number advantage, and they have very little positioning from it. I mean, what, you're still ramp, you're still actually towards T-spawn. They didn't do too much with their time in the, holding the reins of the round.
The nice thing for Darkside here is that no matter where they go, Godsent is very spread out across the map because they have no information, they want some. So it's going to be a 3-on-1 here at the A bomb site. Pronax can rotate, but I don't think he'll be able to get there in time, so Twist is going to have a huge job to do.
And he's no doubt capable, even as the flash he could do it, just he's going to do the pop off the wood. This is a beautiful flashbang, catches the whole of Tetris, changes his mind though instead. He's going to catch them as they start prefacing towards Sandwich. Here comes the flash now, Sink not going to do much better, and look at that, passes the test with flying colours, doesn't preserve the AWP, with perhaps a sign that he prefers that AK, wants to be doing damage with it, but still, I mean, 3 players coming straight towards him and he has absolutely no worries.
Yeah, and now picking up the AWP, it is kind of interesting because Disco Doppler looks like he's considering buying one here. Yeah, he does go for it. So, I mean, that's maybe a small mistake. I don't think they're going to care too much about that. But, yeah, aggressive in drop zone that round for Godsent. But Twist, I mean, you can just see the first kill. It's a dirty off angle as the terrorist has to decide if he wants to clear closet or clear under balcony. It's just a really, really tough decision to make. It's basically a 50-50 gamble at that point.
And he profits from it, and it does look like the profiting is going to continue, because look at this murder. Schneider, not another. Oh, these rounds are ending quickly. Yeah,
and I mean, obviously it's so nice if you're able to make that kind of a peak, because you have control top mid. You don't have to worry about anything. Beautiful. So you can just commit yourself to peering straight down, no danger from behind you. This is nice from Godsent. But, I mean, this is where it's going to start getting out of hand. If Darkside doesn't win this round, then Godsent's that's when the no respect is really, really going to come out.
I mean, this is something that we always talk about, and I always find a very interesting element of being the underdog in Counter-Strike, is you have to force their hand in terms of respecting you. You cannot start a game of Counter-Strike and expect them to play default.
And it'd be one thing, you know, if they had some experience, but the big thing about playing in this kind of a match on a stage, and yes, there's no crowd here, it's not like some epic arena, but the fact that you're on a stage playing here, you're naturally going to feel a little bit more timid, and that's exactly what you can't do.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that, you see Badgie's going to try for the same stuff he used to do online. This time, though, you've got a Swede with a very, very competent hand holding the AWP. Now they've already lost 2 players, and 2 players that were untraded, impossible to trade as well, going solo. Now they have some mid-control. Bomb towards top mid, and they're going for a walk. Smoke does have a gap. They're trying to exploit that, but there's no one to be found. Instead, it's going to be Twist, who's migrated from underbalk to keeping eyes on connector.
And this is really nice from Godsent, because they do have some aggressive plays towards mid, but once they get those 2 kills, it's just fall back. You know, play the man advantage, get into the bomb sites. Darkside, really, there's not a whole lot they can do at this position. Unless Twist gets caught out with some awkward timing, and it's possible.
Is it?
I mean, he's got no one in A, and this is nice by Schneider. Watching for the boost, he now knows there's a second one underneath. There's the timing, but the bomb's down in mid now. That's perfect from Schneider. Texa is up, but there's one player in A halls as well. He's the insurance policy here, and it might not even get to that. That's a nice shot, and there he is. Pronax pouncing at the right time. 6-1 for Godsent.
And preserving almost all of the nades on the remaining players as well. They didn't need to use them.
Exactly.
How crazy is that?
That's a lot of money. I mean, you can see the bank building up. You've got Pronax with almost 13,000. You've got Lekro with 11,000. This is going to be a really tough economy to break. Darkside, they have to start having some success in these rounds, a little bit more. I think Godsent, though, is going to realize, I mean, the last 2 rounds of this that they've had, that Darkside had, they've sent 3 to 4 to underpass. So they do switch things up this time at least.
Yeah. Did you see what their money was like? This isn't a full force, is it? They've got
like right around 2K, I believe.
Okay, so it's full by next round. So they're doing their best with Tech 9s, and perhaps, that spurt of aggression, that little bit more of a kind of free-flowing attitude to the round like this could benefit them. You said they need to be less timid. I think Tech 9 armor is probably a good way to start, being less timid.
Yeah, I mean, naturally, with this weapon, you have to be aggressive. It just benefits that so much. Now, here's a little bit of a gap in the defense. Dick Stacy has found himself a very nice position on the map. No one from Godsent has spotted this. It looks like Lekro, he's just aware. That's just experience, and that shot might give it away. There it is. You can't make those small mistakes, and that's one of the other things you have to adjust to at this level of play, is just the margin for error becomes so small.
I like that from Texter, though. Catches Twist. I mean, Twist, of all people, going for a spray, catches him out with a Tech 9, and now Doppelin. If they close the gap on the Orb, a flash is perfect. He's down to 27. One more bullet will do. Can't quite do so. In fact, it's Tech 9 v Tech 9. Doppelin shows he's got something in his sidearm as well. Now, another down. Texter, though, proven that he has capable aim, but he's not even been allowed to cross to the site. It's Lekro with 3. And another round to Godsent. That's scary now. They got the pistol, they roared, and it has been silenced from the left side of the stage ever since.
Yeah, that's the big thing as well, because this is where it starts to just feel insurmountable, right? Where you're just a little bit demotivated.
Starting T-side.
Yeah, I mean, you pointed out in the last gun round is what they really need to do is if they're going to lose players early on, they have to be traded, right? I mean, I think they need to stop with a little bit more of the spread out, slow pace default. I think they need to be a little bit more grouped up. Go for a standard execute. Here's a nice trick though. Twist, he drops the smoke to make it appear like he's going to be playing behind it, and he gets aggressive. Flix was ready for it, but can't connect the shots. And you can see Twist, just the almost arrogance of just understanding there's probably only one player in Palace going for the gun switch immediately.
But we talked about it, didn't we, this aggression? Like, that is a no-respect play. He's not doing that in a semi-final, but he gets away with it here, and all that's gonna be a salt in the wound. As Darkside start realizing that they are going to have to change things up. This default is not working. Losing 2 players early is not working. And I mean, last time Godsent were in this situation, they just hit the brakes, holding very tight angles and disappeared. And that was something you observed, right? They do that kind of cockiness, that aggression, that, you know, pushing through their own smokes, and then they evaporate.
Yeah, they're gone now. And then you can see Darkside still has to take it so very slow, but a little bit spread out. Sync has got to make something happen from this position. The bomb is going to go towards the A site, and he's alone. And remember, there was aggression in the halls. I believe that was from Schneider. So they've got to be careful rotating back through T-spawn. They don't know where anyone is. No, it's Twist, excuse me. And he's already perched up. He's waiting for it. And we're going to see, because Texter's coming right at him, and this is going to be an awkward angle for Texter to expect.
This is really impossible for Texter. Look at that. That's a bomb loose. That's a round. That is the round over. I'll tell you now, 28 seconds. Bomb is in Twist's grasp in Palace. There's plenty of nades left on the CTs. There's an AWP in CT as well. Ooh, they're still going for it. Doppelin is going to whip a shot. Badge does find another kill. Important one at that, but you hear Twist coming. You knew he was coming. Can't do anything about it. That will be then 8 for Godsent. Their money is starting to get a little overwhelming. And this is that realization, right? You said, what, insurmountable was the word you used? Is this just when the money's just so good for the CTs?
Well, I mean, Darkside, we can see how much trouble they're having just finding kills. They're going to have to win, like, 3 rounds in a row to break this economy. And even then, it's going to be a 4 spot more than likely from Godsent. They're just going to feel so confident in the Deagles and everything that it won't matter.
We saw what they did with the Deagles in the second round.
Yeah, exactly. This is painful. Oh, and a dink through the smoke and the follow-up spray. He's getting more damage. Badged out of 30 as well. That's when you start to feel really frustrated, like there's just nothing you can do. Molotov in position as well. Texter can't help out his teammates.
Right. I can imagine in a very Australian accent saying, he doesn't even have an AWP. You know, he's just, I'm trying to cross mid. He doesn't even have an AWP, and I'm still dying through smoke. There was a smoke. He doesn't have an AWP. I'm mad. I can feel it. I can feel the rage, but the Swedes have lost a player. Lekro gone. Now, he was typically the B player, and I think Texter's aware of that as he's going to try and get some early control, but Doppelin has moved from window to a different window. Eyes on Texter. Does get a little glimpse of the cross, and oh, this is getting really problematic. Just 2 remain. Flix has been a regular presence in Palace, and I'm sure Godsent are aware of that, as are we. Saying that,
I mean, this is a huge rotation from Godsent, right? They're just predicting it's going to be a B hit because they saw someone there. Because at this stage, and there's only 3 players left this late in the round after all the action, you expect that all of them are going to be at that B bomb site and maybe just slowed down by the defense. But at least the fake, this might allow a plant. The issue is there is a smoke on Flix. That's towards CT spawn, and Twist actually, maybe a half second early, he would have been able to spot that out. The jump up, Flix is watching for it. That's a good find. That's good awareness from Flix.
I like that a lot. The one kind of gap in their defense was that jump, and he finds it. Now, though, 3 versus 2. Schneider starting to bait and switch, trying to get some information for his teammates as they start to push in as a collaborative force. Pronax from CT, 2 from Stead. He gets another one. This could be Darkside's second, but Pronax has something to say. And it's going to be Flix who zips his lips. It's going to be 3 then for the T side, and they actually get another round on the board. Their second for them, 3 for Flix. And it started with Doppelin doing an absurd amount of damage, so that's a really big win.
I mean, the real thing there was the gamble from Godsent to rotate everyone towards that B bomb site. They just felt like it was going to be hit. It's a misread, and then they just couldn't get back in a position. But yeah, Flix is definitely the hero. The smoke and CT spawn, watching for that jump up as well. Easy to kind of lose yourself and kind of miss that. But still, Darkside are going to go right back into this kind of a default, this Seems like they want to do mid control, but I mean, they've just been tempered by all the aggression that Godsent has thrown at them. Look how far back they're playing. They're waiting for anything.
I mean, let's list the things we've seen from Godsent. We've seen a
double
underpass. We've seen Pronax playing anti-flash with someone on short and one peeking window. We've seen them push up aggressively with 2 people at mid. They've done it all.
They've pushed in A halls as well. They've peeked down the B bomb site. If you the B halls,
I'd be scared.
Around. Yeah, aggression everywhere on the map. So, I mean, that's pretty smart from Godsent in the sense that they just spread out for the first 20 seconds. They're just watching for that. They do miss a window smoke, though, and I mentioned how small the margin of errors can be. That's a second smoke they have to use for this position.
I like the angle from Pronax, but he's going to get caught out, and thus Badge is going to take the fight, and it's actually UMP prevails versus M4, a big one for them. Forced Twist to take that responsibility from his fallen comrade, and plenty of time still on the clock, just under a minute. And the T's have that mid-control that they've been so searching for throughout this game, and another. 2 falling now, Doppelin down. They are starting to retrieve that bomb. It does mean that they're going to start moving. And what are these fights? Godsent just keep throwing bodies towards middle, and they start dropping. Body bags being zipped up. It's Twist with 2, but still. Schneider left to his own devices, and it does look like he's going to be given a fight. Fortunately enough for the Australian, he is going to narrowly get away with his life. Bomb will go down. Now, the question is, they have money for days. Schneider's going to go and try and do some serious damage here.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, why not? Look how confident he is. Double peek there from spawn. That's really nice. Another really good shot from Flix. He's had a pair of good rounds here. So that's the third for Darkside. It's showing a little bit of life. And this is actually the buy is going to be the last one that Godsent has if they can't win this. I think now you see Darkside has kind of finally caught on to the aggression. They've started to punish it a little bit, and that last round they punished it a lot. Over-aggression from Godsent, you could even say. So I think this time we're going to see a little bit more of a passive defense.
I mean, you're not going to expect someone to re-peek every time you get a kill in middle normally.
One of the big issues, though, as well, Pronax has actually used that same angle like 2 or 3 times, and I guess he just doesn't realizes that they can see him a little bit earlier than he expects because he's been fired at when he can't even see anyone on his screen. So that angle, he's using it a little bit improperly where he's actually exposed.
Just a little bit too much of a shoulder.
Yep.
A Swedish shoulder showing. So, they have invested their resources towards middle once again. 3 CTs dedicated. Make it 2 now, because Pronax has lost his head. I swear, he didn't die in the same place this time. It cut to Doppelin. And they are quite beautifully spread out here. You can see they've got some control underpass. They have one pushing up from Delpan now. And another returning towards T-Spawn for that bomb retrieval. Texter's responsibility is to lurk ramp, try and pop out. And look at that, Stacy's come up from behind, and Texter's there as well. Darksided are starting to pile up these rounds. Sync, don't fall into that trap. Didn't need to take the fight and is punished thusly.
This is actually super nice from Darkside. That 1 kill in mid, and I mean, even if Godsent had players there, but no one really getting the information that Dick Stacy was just slowly pushing up connector. He's able to sandwich that A-bomb, so that's a really nice split that came in slow-paced. Works perfectly, and a 2-on-4, actually a 1-on-4 now. Lecaro's the only one left as Schneider is deleted. Again, from Flix, a couple nice long-range shots over the past 3 rounds from him.
Yeah, they know exactly where he is as well. Look at that, a Molotov, a flash, everything. I would say Lecaro's capable of anything, but not this time. It will be Dick Stacy who has a great round. 3 for him. He needed that as well. Confidence boost, some wind into the sails of Darkside.
Not only a confidence boost, but this now is on the edge of turning into a very good half for Darkside. They're about to get up towards 5. Yeah, I mean, it looked so abysmal for a long time. It looked like they didn't have any answers, and they've now figured it out. Punishing the mid-aggression and then crunching that A-bomb site because, I mean, there's a trend now. Godsent, they're more than willing to abandon that A-bomb site and play retake because they want to have control of mid. They want to dominate that portion of the map, and it's not working these past few rounds. Back onto the pistols, and Darksided again, they just have to be a little bit wary of the aggression. It's going to be Flix. He's been a star for Darksided recently. Opens up with a kill. Is dinked. And he's got to be prepared for this counter-aggression, and he is wisely falling back. Using some utility. Not going to get caught off by the follow-up.
No Kevlar for them to just make this round a little bit more realistic, and already with Twist dead. I like this. Look, Flix has definitely got his head screwed on tight. Catches Pronax trying to push for early info. It's all you really can do in a situation like this, in a financial situation like this as well. Just 3 left as well for them. So what have you got, Doppelin? AKV Deagle, and well, that's a head gone. A potential second towards ramp, and he's anticipating another push towards connector. He is, however, vulnerable to the wood and to the AK. Schneider not only really connect the CZ bullets, and this will be the 5th round. So this went from what, 7-1 7-1, nearly 13 grand in the bank for the CTs, Jason, to a broken economy.
I think it was actually 8-1. I think
8-1,
it's been the past 3 for
yeah,
Darkside.
right,
So I mean, this has been brutal. I think part of it as well is if I'm Godsent, I don't want Pronax playing that connector position, right? You want like one of your highest skilled players. Pretty much every team we see in the pro scene right now has like their highly skilled star playing that connector position.
Right.
It's so difficult, and I don't want him making the plays in mid initially. I think you put someone else there, you let Pronax be in a position where he can make wise decisions, where he doesn't have to be aggressive, doesn't have to just take duels, and you make him like maybe the rotator, maybe someone who can kind of survey the action from a less attention.
I'm trying to think of someone that's like spectacular at the position, like Fur for SK used to play that.
Yeah, and North, I think, does a great job on mid control. They have a lot of very skilled players. Config and Cajun are the ones who kind of focus on mid as well. So I think that's kind of something you'd like to see here. But I mean, a couple times now, Pronax has been the first player to fall with the mid aggression. And this could be interesting. Lekro, don't jump too high. You've got Nop trained exactly for this. Badge is trying to go for it. Hasn't spotted it yet. Dick Stacy just being a menace over towards A, and there goes Text at the B bomb. So that's the bomb down initially.
Yeah,
that's 15 seconds into the round.
And already the rotate's coming in. Lekro, he's holding them off well. The Molotov's going to force him, but Sync's already caught one. He's actually going to push through the fire and flames, and still can't quite find the frag. Information gathered. They have control of this site. If Lekro doesn't... Oh, he's just swung straight around, catches them blindsided. And now Badge has an AWP. He can't push in. He can't get feet on the B bomb site. The CTs are rotating, and they are stuck really in a bit of a tough position. Lekro makes his whereabouts known with the smoke, and what a shot from Badge. Must have just been a little millimeter of CT, and no. Doppler low, but not low enough. Finished off by Stacy. Another not going to happen because Twist is there, and now Badge, they know exactly where you are. He doesn't have the bomb, and he doesn't have a chance. You'd have to hit an absurd shot. His teammate Twist just trying to bait for him. Will be the 9th from Godsent, and I mean that was entirely because of not only Lekro's information, but the 2 frags he took before he died.
The delays as well. I mean, the Molotov, the forced players to stay up in those B halls. It just took a long time. Even though the trading was pretty good for Darkside, had one for one the whole way in. It just took too long to come to fruition. And you could see eventually Godsent had players flanking on catwalk, so many different areas, and they just kept throwing bodies at the problem. Works out. Darksided would be so happy to get that 6th round.
It would be huge. I mean, this already does feel like, they've managed to make a real game out of this. And again, the majority of Dick Stacy's frags have been in mid, and that is a double peak that you do not see every day, and it's traded in favor of the T's. Look at that. They both strafe out. And Schneider is going to... Oh, Schneider is he, though? He's completely whiffed it! Saves the day eventually by finding the head of Sync. That was... That's unreal. That's a knees weak moment.
Yeah, it really is, which is surprising to see from someone as experienced.
Oh, scary stuff.
Especially because it'd be great if he could have had full HP, right? And then you can actually take a little bit more battles. Now he's got to be a bit more passive, try and kind of win with positioning. This B bomb site is open as well. Flick's just taking the opportunity. I don't even think they know necessarily that Twist is where he is. They're just going for a gamble, and it's going to pay off. B bomb site is open. It's going to be a 2-on-2 post-plant situation.
Looking at nades as well, there's double Molotov on the T's. They can keep them at bay towards short, even Palace and Apps. I just said at Palace, I did mean Kitchen. And the CTs do have a Molotov to flush out something. And there they go. Invest in that utility, buying themselves some time. There's 1 kid available, and that's Schneider, so he better not burn his toes too much. We already talked about the damage he didn't need to take. Right, he's made his whereabouts known.
Yeah, now, I mean, when he attacks, this is going to be a headshot angle as well, which is okay for him. And there it is. Text finds him from the van. Twist now in a 1-on-2. No kit as well. This has got to be quick. That is instantaneous, and he's not going to get the second one. Good peek out from Texta. He wasn't prepared for it. That's a nice half, considering it was 8-1 at one point.
Yeah, I think there's very, very happy Australians at the end of that one. Godsent, I think, they wouldn't have been happy with anything other than 15-0 on that first half. They have this, you have to, I guess, when you're coming in up against underdogs, there has to be a degree of that not overconfidence, but let's show them that we don't even need to play properly, and you just run around and you do aggressive pushes, and it was working. It was 8-1. They were looking phenomenal, and then they kind of sussed it out. They found a way to break middle. I think that was the kind of where to start. That
was kind of where you saw the problems for Godsent, is just the lack of adaptation after that. Never going away from it. They just kept going right back into it, and eventually it broke the economy. So that's good to see from Darkside, that they're able to kind of handle that aggression, and that's also going to make them feel a lot better, saying, all right, we actually can handle these guys. It's not too much of a mismatch.
I mean, Twist looks like he's just lost the game.
Yeah, he looked like he had a long night.
Yeah. Maybe he was just enjoying the Leicester party times.
They call it the Vegas of the UK.
Did they?
Yeah.
I went to uni here for 3 years and I heard that every day.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, the Vegas of the UK.
Well,
Leicester.
you showed me the streets last night. We saw some clubs were happening. They were bumping.
Yeah, I mean, what day was it? It was a Friday. What
Yes,
day?
it was a Friday.
Where am I? Who am I? Yeah, Friday night, Leicester. Big times, big times. If you're a fan of what have you got here? Indian food and
Nando's?
punk music. There's a bit of surprising amount of punk in Leicester.
Is there really?
Did you know? Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do fun facts of Leicester. Hold back. Stay one.
You gave me
Game
one last night. King George III. King Richard. George,
close,
Richard,
though.
same thing.
Yeah, no, he was King of England in like what 13 something to 14 something. He was found in a car park.
What is that? Are those hand warmers on the temples?
That is. So that's the Schneider Classic. If any of you are wondering how you stop missing P250 shots, you warm up your cerebral lobe,
to the temples, yeah.
temporal. I don't even know brain jargon. Cerebral is a word, right? And then there's a cortex in there.
Cerebral cortex.
So cerebral, temporal, converse, inverse, diaphragm.
Aren't the temples like some of the important points for your what is it? Chakra?
Chakra, yes,
Chakra,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. You got to channel your chi.
Yep, that's it.
And they're channeling their chi into the pistol round. Let's have a little look. Full Kevlar, not a single investment of utility for the CTs. They're just going to take those fights. And on the offhand, you have Pronax, who's going to be throwing out that smoke. It looks like he's invested it towards, is that going to be jungle? It is. Quite a deep one from jungle. Lecro's already got that Deagle frag. It's kind of crazy to see him still utilizing that, but Doppler and Badge has taken 2 heads. That's more than enough. Now Flix does what his name suggests. Flix onto Palace, and a second not quite going to be as Twist does enough. So Pronax has paid a heavy price for his lack of Kevlar. He's down to 38, and in fact he pays a heavier one. Now Sync's got himself another frag. That's his first actually in this round. 2 for Twist. Can he make it 4? Trying to draw him out. He's already tagged up. Will he get fragged up? I'm worried, but Sync saves the day. And that will be the 7th. They get 2 pistol rounds. This has been both pistols now for the Aussies.
This is huge. This is really nice for Darkside. And so they're right in this. Nice job from Sync as well. Good 2-on-1 play there. You thought that Deagles from Lecro was going to basically win in the round. It's Pronax, though. I mean, he just didn't realize what was happening. He spots 2 players in connector, and the other player runs around to jump into the window to flank around him, and Pronax just didn't see it coming. He wasn't even considering it as a possibility. He gets eliminated.
Now
this buy from Godsent.
Godsent won this round on the CT side, and we have an armored Mac 10 going up against head armor. We have a scout. This is going to be a very intriguing round. And again, Darkside did go for what was a recipe for failure in the last round, but I like it. Long range with the M4s, 3 UMPs, and a oodle of nades as well. Where the bomb is going is an intriguing question, because at the moment, a lot of information available to that A player. If he chooses to push, Flix would find a lot. Now, where's that going? Pronax preparing himself for somewhat of a B execute.
Sync is a little feeling uncomfortable behind the smoke.
You're not a fan?
Through. I mean, it's not a bad spot. It's just I think he just looked like a little bit worried about what's coming through. Flash is over now, and here's the execute. One player's already in the site. That's Lecco. He doesn't realize where Sync is, though, even though he's being fired upon. And these 2 players, Dick Stacy, they're doing work. They're holding off this B hit. The bomb is down. Not a lot of chance for Godsent in this. They're blocked off.
They are melting. Now, it actually does look like they're falling foul to some fantastic CT smokes. It means that you can't do anything from short. They create some temporary walls, I think.
Yeah.
Very nice. Darksided, they hold fast and actually maintain 4 weapons as well. If you want to make a comeback, if you want to topple the favorites of the tournament, you do so by keeping that economy solid, keeping themselves comfortable, and finding their footing, and they've done so here on the CT side.
And now they're going to be able to build up some bank with the bonus money of these UMPs, only losing 1 weapon as well. That's also because there's just going to be rounds that you're going to have to win some clutches if you're Darksided on this side. So even in wins, you're going to be spending economy in order to do it. So you need to build up some bank early on. And there's no danger really. They have 2 P250s on the Godsent side. This should be a round Darkside can clean up pretty handily.
Now, I keep seeing that messed up ramp smoke. I don't know if it's deliberate or not, but it does mean you can peek underneath. We'll look into that later, because at the moment it's going to be a question of how many can you kill when absolutely none is the answer. Flix. Fortunately, his teammates are there. Oh, that's he just sees a flood of T's. He's just waving his mouse left to right, hoping some of the bullets connect.
That's when you got to just look at your teammate and smile a little bit.
Like,
my bad. That won't happen again.
Yeah, my bad. They didn't lose a single weapon, right? So you're talking of bonus money. They could be in like the...
This is that bonus round that we always mention, right? 3 UMPs. You don't have to upgrade. Obviously, we know how effective that weapon can be. And if you can turn them into AK-47s for free, it's huge.
huge for, I mean, potentially causing, I was going to say the biggest upset of the tournament, and it is game 1, day 1. This has been the start, our debut here, and Flix, his aggression pays off. He's taken an AK out of the equation with his bonus UMP.
He even missed the flashbang, though. I mean, that's the thing. If that flashbang actually works, he might just get 2 kills there. Now, a little bit of aggression from Darkside on their own. I think they're going to fall off this pretty quickly, though. They realize that Godsent's playing too far back to really punish. That'd be over-aggression, but Pronax is brought down towards 5. So this Godsent team is just getting chipped away. Not a lot of health to work with.
Let's see what happens here. I just love the juxtaposition between, you know, the badges. You've got Darkside who are sitting there with their
5-year coins.
Yeah, 5-year coins or whatever else you may have. They may have a Mirage pin. I've got one of those. And then you've just got like semi-final in Atlanta, champion in Katowice.
Not bad, is it?
Yeah, it does just put into perspective. Champion at DreamHack, they're all there. They've all got one. And then up against them is Darkside. Some of these having their first LAN event. A lot of people actually
Silver operation.
yeah, exactly. There are accusations thrown towards some of these players from the Australian scene, and let's just see. Let's not get too excited. We know what these players are capable of on the Swedish side. However, Pronax very low, and Schneider's actually been brought into a similar situation. There goes Pronax, put 6 feet under by Texter's UMP. Still very low though. One spray from Dick Stacey could very well finish the job. It could be Sync as well. That's the high HP gone. Now they're just sitting there with their scraps of hate points left. Lecro's gone. One more left. It's Doppelin. And that's a big roar from the Aussies. They've found their vocal cords once more.
And Godsent has just, I mean, this is what the desk was talking about. This is what we mentioned as well. If you're going to overestimate your opponents, it gives them an opening to really catch you off guard. And that's exactly what's happening here. Godsent, I mean, never adjusting in the first half, gave up too many rounds. And now they're on the back foot. Now this is going to start being worrying. They don't even seem aggressive at this point. They don't even seem like the disrespect is not being effective, and they don't really know what to do after that.
Yeah, I always find it odd when you see just those couple of scrappy Kevlars, when it's just like, oh, I'm going to go try and make a play. I'm going to try and find us an opening. Just Schneider and Lecro still. Nade up towards middle could do an awful lot, and it does. Lecro, he bought Kevlar, and he has 2 points of health left. Still, though, this is a question of how little weapons can you lose. If you want to start building up the bank of Darksided, don't lose weapons in a fight like this. Aggressive strafing.
Yeah, I mean, this is mid-control for Godsent as well, but they just don't have anything, right? I mean, they're out of utility. They have no rifles, and that's Sync. A couple easy kills for him. And these pistols, they just can't really do anything at that point. 11-9. Did you ever think you'd see it?
Honestly, no. Whilst I know they have to be competent, this is the top team coming in from the Premier Division of the Mountain Dew League in Australia. And
this is exactly what I talked about, though. Like, these premier teams, these semi-amateurs, it's easy to match the skill level. And if Godsent is going to keep doing the kind of disrespect to kind of just take their aim duels, that's going to be easily matched from Darksided. So if you're Godsent, I mean, that's nice. Disco Doppler with the op pick, a little bit over-aggressive. And actually, this is delayed mid-control. He might get caught off guard, but he's not. Nice flick, and a third one even. Texted drops. Flix, though, he's doing his best to get his team back into this round and almost does it with 3 of his own.
Wow, sit down. Doppelin has got his AWP, and I mean, I liked what the kind of initiative there to see someone die window and immediately start pushing up mid to try and kind of pressure the AWP.
Yeah.
You could see he only heard the steps. He didn't get any visuals. But despite the best efforts from Flix, this does look like the round's going away. He's going to get caught off. Nice little gap from Lecro. And he will find a round exclusively coming because of Doppelin. Look at this. This third shot is one you shouldn't really be getting. Well, it did connect, just wasn't quite in his head. Doppelin very quick on the trigger.
Just interesting as well to see no real utility used on that mid-aggression there from the Australians. Yeah, not a flash at all. So they get punished, and now, I mean, all that money we talked about needing to build it up, it's almost gone. 2 players at 300 and 100. That's going to be a little bit dangerous, and it's the big thing. If they're going to get picked off by that AWP, that's going to happen. This round, though, a little bit more reserved. Utilities used to force Badge back, and he's very low standing in the flames. This is an execute. This is going to be fast-paced. Dick Stacey has got a lot to do here.
They are going to check you, though. You have to hit this shot. He does so, and there was no trade from Twist. Chill out now, Dick. You're alive. This is an interesting name to cast.
It's the man with 2 first names, right?
Yes. Yes, indeed. Still, finally the hunt is won out. Twist did go for Dick Stacey, and there goes Badge doing exactly what he needed to do. That trade through that really messed up.
That's a team damage.
Yeah, but stabilizes. Pronax is going to catch him, and Texas coming from his spawn does a big step in the right direction for picking up this round. Let's not forget, this will put Godsent back to scraps.
This is cool though, because in the first half, a lot of the start of it, you know, the 8-round run that Godsent had, it looked like Darkside was just playing a little bit timid. Looked like they weren't kind of very confident in what they were doing, and just able to string those rounds together at the end of it and start out this half very well. Now on these rotations, they're being very, very aggressive. They're being very confident in their peaks, very decisive in their decision making, and that's helping so much.
100%. And now time does favor Godsent. They've got plenty of time to just make a decision and commit towards it, find a pick. There's no need to be rushing that bomb plant, and Lekro is going to be going in first. He has Doppler over his shoulder, a musket resting on his shoulder, and now here goes Lekro. He's got, this is that horrible decision you were talking about. You have to check Sandwich and Balcony, and you have to check it all. Process of elimination. Now Palace, the Molotovs are out.
And at this stage in the game, or the round, excuse me, with this much time left, you can't use utility, because then you'll give up the game too early. Oh, Disco, that was dangerous for just a moment. He holds his own. That's nice.
Close. Nearly got a second now. Jumping for info, and it is going to be Lekro to shut him down at 1 versus 1. There's no doubt Sync's going to be a little bit nervous, and I would be too facing Lekro. It's going to be his head gone. Godsent are kept alive and kicking, courtesy of Lekro.
Yeah, that's a nice 1-on-2.
What a shot.
Yeah, the Disco Doppler and the AWP, I mean, holding the trigger on the shoulder peaks and the shadows and everything like that and just finding it, that was critical to winning that round.
Impossible if the Doppler doesn't hit that. You get a horrible, like, double wide PPCT.
Yeah, right. This is now like probably the most important round we've had quite yet. 11-11, both teams on scraps essentially after this bye. Whoever loses this, probably going to force in the next round, but they're going to have a couple players that have virtually nothing, like 2 to 3 players who really can't afford anything that dangerous. So this is a big round to see how the rest of this is going to play out. Double nade, nice idea, goes right past the op of Doppler though. He's too far pushed forward.
God, in another universe, both of them hit him.
You like to see that, though. I mean, the tactics on the CT side, obviously a little bit practice, and obviously the communication nice to just say, hey, this is the round, let's double nade it.
Yeah, so Doppler shows there was a presence in apps. There was no other information prior to that, and you're right, this is a very, almost game-defining, map-defining round here. And when they talked about it on the desk, they said that though there are considerable favorites, admittedly, from the 2 groups here for the Mountain Dew League finals, an upset early would turn everything on its head.
Remember, Godsent is one of the teams that's already qualified for Pro League. These guys are going to be in Pro League next season playing against the best that the world has to offer, the best that Europe even has to offer, which is a scary prospect to begin with. So Darkside have got to be feeling very, very happy with their performance so far in this game, but it's not over yet. A chance here. And there's Sync. He's going to open things up, the first kill. And it seems like Godsent, they really haven't decided where to go. This is going to be a pinch on the A bomb site, but it's going to turn, I believe, that Schneider and Connector into a little bit of a lurk roll behind this smoke. He's got to wait for his teammates to really apply the pressure.
I think Flix is going to be making the call like I'm feeling the heat, quite literally, as you see the Molotovs coming out. 2 now pushing towards Tetris. He needs to take 1, and he doesn't. Instead, though, Tex has done some of his work for him. Can he get another? Badge catching him on the cross. They know there's an AWP in play, and you can see him crossing. Doppler's going to be trying to punch in the digits, but from CT, he strives. It's going to be Sync. 3 frags in the round. You said it was important, and with 10 seconds left on the clock, they bring it home. Darkside find 12.
Yeah, and look at how it's left. This is nice from Tex. I don't even know if he really, I don't know if that's something they coordinated, but Sync is able to peek, and because they have to eliminate Tex, and because all the information or the attention is over towards Staircase, Sync has a couple easy kills in that bomb site. And look at this buy from Godsent. This is what I was
they were
talking
going to
about.
force, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to at this point. It's an AK-47, and it's 4 pistols. Now, I mean, obviously still dangerous, especially if it's a heavy B execute streaming out of the windows, but we saw this earlier, and we saw Darkside handle it perfectly on the second round.
Now, pressure mounting. You have just saved the previous round, Sync, but let's not get caught off here. Flash is coming in.
Oh, no.
And this looks bad. He's going to be full white. He needs to find something. Finally gets his vision back, and he's still going to strive. 2. Only going to be 2, though, because Pronax has burst out of B apps with some frags. Now shut down, though, caught pants around his ankles, and a little over-aggressive from Texer is punished. It was Lekro, his Tech 9 chiming through. Now, can he get anything done without that bomb in his grasp? A nade brings him down to 63. He doesn't want to consider retrieving it. He has very little information. He knows 1 was towards Kitchen, but that's it.
Yeah, but he's got to do something before the smoke fades, right? Because that's at least denying information, denying vision towards Darkside. And so if he doesn't, oh, that's a mistimed peek. Not going to punish him, fortunately, but that smoke is now out. So now it's a little bit more dangerous. He's hoping that a mistake is going to be made. Someone is going to peek. Someone is going to get a little bit nervous in the inexperience of the Darksided side of things, but it's not happening.
So what is the play here from Darksided? Just wait for the sound and then push together?
You have a 2-on-1, and you know, it's kind of one of those things where once the bomb starts getting planted, it's essentially a 2-on-0, right? So I mean, you just stick together. You play the trade game.
Right. So a filthy double spray from Lekro is his way out here. Fakes it, trying to draw the CC, but look at this, they're not budging. They're not moving an inch. Now the bomb's going to be going down, and Darkside are waiting for the cue. And now they begin to push in. It's going to be AWP versus M4 if he does choose to take that fight. Flash is coming in, and you can see, because of the absence of noise, Lekro is convinced they could be coming from apps. Sound being made as they push in together, and here comes potential, but no, Flicks. Quick to adjust, finds Lekro, and that will be the 13th. You like that restraint from the Australians?
Oh, I
that
love
feel
it.
Right?
Absolutely love it. That is so nice. Even if he falls there, I mean, there's the AWP is there ready to trade it off. Actually, I would have liked to see the AWP drop for an M4 for the double retake, and then you can pick the AWP right back up at the end. But either way, they manage it so nicely. Because the big thing is, like, if you lose a 2-on-1 when you're playing the trade game the way they did, fair play. Nice job from the terror side. But if you lose it by making a mistake, by over-peaking in a situation where he draws you into the open, that's when it gets crushing.
Yeah, so close yet so far for Godsent. 13-11. They're staring down the barrel of a demoralizing defeat. Now, yes, you've secured your Pro League spot. There is still a bundle of cash, a Mountain Dew branded suitcase full of Skrilla.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I would bring that on the planes to all the events if I had a Mountain Dew branded suitcase.
Would you?
I would.
Well, there you go. They'll slide into your DMs in a moment still. Talking of sliding, there he goes, just strafes out from Connector and gets the head of Doppler. It's a huge start. Now, this is where you have to be cautious of the over-aggression, but it doesn't look like they're going to have any worries here. Tech 9 long range, going to be sandwiched in between the Schneider and Pronex. Not a bad sandwich, I wouldn't mind being a part of.
Alex, I think this is over.
Shush now.
I think it's over.
Darksided, it looked so bleak for them. It's 14, the Australians are 2 away from completely rocking this tournament socks off.
I think they've done it. I think
Bite your tongue, just bite your tongue.
I know.
Enjoy this adventure together.
I would have never thought it would have happened.
No, I wouldn't have said 0%, but the guys at there said it will be closer than you expect, but Godsent will win. And it does seem like the Godsent that we saw in the first half, the smiles on the face, the strafes through smoke, everything that was working for them has gone. They've lost that flare, that fire.
Oh, that's a nice play from Pronax. The switch up, changing the pace, an individual play. He makes it happen. The in-game leader, always known for his impact, but he's going to get caught off guard here. He still could win the fight, but Texa does find it, just holds on.
I like
Either
this
way,
restraint.
yeah, 4-on-4 is going to benefit the terror side always.
Now, Dick Stacey gets information, but isn't going to overpeak. He's well aware there's one towards top middle. He knows there's one underpass. So 50% of the T side, we know your positions, and Twist does have the AWP for what feels like the first time. We've seen Doppler primarily using that so far. But then, when your back is against the ropes, you try a little bit of something spicy, giving Twist a chance to try and find a way in. Pronax just pushing ramp, this is them kind of just saying, do your own thing.
Yeah, Twist isn't being too aggressive with the AWP, though. He's essentially just kind of covering Schneider, who's at the bottom of mid. It's a nade in Schneider's hands as well. Not going to use it quite yet, though. Waiting for everyone. The AWP still not making a play. Now it's got the bomb. There's smoke. That's way too deep, though. And if they think that's a good smoke, this is going to be easy for Dick Stacey. Some damage done. No, he misses the shot. But there it is. There's the AWP and the bomb. That's a big kill if he can get it, and he can't. Lekro catches him out. That's over-aggression from Dick Stacey, perhaps. But Badge is forced to make a play, and he can do nothing either.
All because of a bad smoke favoring. I mean, Dick Stacey thought he had a chance, right? He was like, this is perfect. Oh, lordy lord. That's scary. Just sees a face emerge from the smoke. But yeah, a bad smoke, Dick Stacey has the advantage. He then sprays, reveals his location, and it's almost like he feels like he has to get those frags, right? It's like his responsibility.
Yeah. Well, he did have his chance, right?
Yeah.
He missed a couple of shots as they jumped up onto the railing. It's the over-aggression after that, I think, that's really what kind of sealed
towards
that.
Twist, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But when you're in that position, it's such a hard decision to make when you're actually in that situation as a player. It's so hard to restrain yourself there.
100%. And now, for the first time in this half, really, we are seeing Darksided forced to go for that forced buy, pun not intended. Let's have a look. They do still have 2k in the bank. They will be buying next round. Just keeping the chances of doing some damage in this round all the more possible.
These deagles are going to be huge. Pronax again, the sole player today. There's aggression up mid, though, and actually
how does that happen?
Stacey again catches Disco off guard. Twist still has the AWP. The AK-47 is salvage in mid-control, and this is going to be a nightmare. If he turns in and starts flanking the B-halls, that's the bomb there as well. This could be so dangerous for Godsent. This round is on a knife's edge. There's going to be a meeting here. Dick Stacey pushing it now, and he drops Lekro. The round is still up in the air. 2 kills for Dick Stacey, and Godsent has got to get the bomb.
This is crazy. Couldn't find the head of Twist. Doesn't choose to re-peek. He knows there's an AWP on the back of that Swede. Dick Stacey has completely thrown a spanner into the works of this Godsent B attack.
now it becomes on Pronax, right? Now Pronax has to do something over towards the A side because these players, Godsent, know they're boxed in an underpass. They have no way to meet up with him. They have to fight their way out. And yeah, that's a third. That's huge for Dick Stacey. He's given his team a chance to win this.
He has to sit back and watch, though, as this round concludes. Will it be 15, or will we have a real game on our hands for Godsent? Pronax, he is pushed up on A. Surely they're aware that he's had the free roam of this site. Thing's going to see him. It's hard to hit the shot, though. It's going to be a shooting gallery. 1 versus 1. It's an aim server here in Leicester, and neither of them is going to go down. It's going to be Twist then. What was that? Badge falls, and now Sync is in a very tight scenario to try and finish what Dick Stacey started. It will be finished off by just the 2 of them. Twist and Pronax doing the dance. The dance of survival, really, for Godsent, and the buy will be coming in now for the CTs. So much, so close.
Yeah, that's a nicely handled round from Godsent, though. I mean, Pronax gets the positioning, and I mean, Godsent has to fight their way out of those B halls, but eventually they just know if they go towards A, Pronax has everything cleared already, and he can at least hold off one of those choke points, and the op rings true from halls. Twist now getting aggressive with it, almost landing it. Not going to happen, though. No kits on the CT side either. All the utility, all the weaponry they could want. They've got to win this, though. 14-13, Godsent making a late comeback, a late bit into this half, and now it looks like they've gotten a little bit more tactical, right? Now it looks like they're slowing things down, they're working their way across the map, they're manipulating their rotations. It's not just the aim duels. They're zoned in now, and this is where it gets extra hard for Darkside to close things out.
Absolutely. So, Godsent looking to be quite a collaborative force at this point. As you can see, the silence reigning over Mirage. It's going to be cut short, though, because the nades are going to start raining. I say nades, plural, but just the one smoke towards stairs currently.
Flix has some information.
Footsteps.
Yeah, this is going to be the whole execute right now.
Here they come then. Flix, what can you do? He knows it's going to be Tetris and Palace. That's a quick one. Can he get a second? He can. Job done. Now the rest sits in the driving seat. Badge, Dick Stacey and Sync to try and find 15. They couldn't before. It was close. Just not quite enough. Schneider's position is prime. He could come behind that CT retake. However, it all comes down to the clock. Bomb down now, so pressure mounting for the CTs. They are going to start using that smoke just to try and force some of these Ts out of their hidey holes. And this is a Schneider we were talking about. His position's so prime. Sync has to get this quickly, and he does. Oh my god, they could get this. Down towards Sandwich and Ramp now. 1 versus 1. Twist versus Sync. He knows exactly where he is. He has no nade. It's a question of fake. Can he draw Twist out? He is going to strafe out. He gets information, but it's not enough. I talked about time, and it's going to become a recurring theme here as Sync realizes the round is Twist's. And Sync? Sync's playing games. It will not, however, be the round. Instead, it's an AWP, and it's a 3rd frag for him. That's, I mean, when you have no kit, when you have no smoke, yeah. it shows, you know, these things you don't think about. Was he the guy that threw that smoke towards Ramp? You can see it there, blooming.
It might have been,
I think it was. I think he threw that, and imagine if he had it for the defuse.
Yeah, well, especially because the smoke didn't do anything really, in the sense that it's meant there to block off that player Twist with the AWP on A ramp, and it doesn't even accomplish that. But still, could have definitely helped him for the smoke defuse if he wants to try and stick it. The real issue is the fact that he has no kit just limits the options there. Now you can see Sync with a kit. He's got a UMP, he's got full nades. This is desperation, though. 14-14 and AWP, 2 UMPs, the M4 and a 5.7. And again, it's looking like it's going to be an A execute. Lurker in middle, though. And that's going to be Schneider playing right behind the smoke.
Now, let's have a little look what you can do. Badge, that's a huge start. He hasn't been particularly influential so far, and Dick Stacey's done some more as well. They know where Texter is, and that's the problem. He's using that smoke to try and find a way out. He can't, though. He knows there's a gap. Instead, he just uses his presence alone. Molotov forcing him out, and he actually takes the fight and wins it now. Just Twist and Pronax, they've saved the day before. Can they do it again? The 2 killed 5 in the last test for the Swedes, and now it's going to be just a few too many. Overwhelmed. This time Dick Stacey's found himself an AK, and 3 players find them for the 15th. Oh, Jason, this is going to be big.
Yeah, that's unreal. They hold off the stop. They hold the line 15-14. And again, Godsent, because of the losses they've taken, this isn't going to be a great buy by any stretch. Actually, it's going to be pretty atrocious, it looks like.
So to put it into perspective for any of you that have just joined us, we have the team that topped the league, secured a spot in the Pro League versus the world's best European teams, Godsent, going up against Darksided. Unrivaled underdogs, really, at this tournament. A few other names, perhaps, in the same hat. But these Aussies, they've been causing upsets all over the world as of late here in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Yeah. Chiefs have done it. We saw what Renegades were capable of in the past. Now Darksided. A little bit of that Vox Eminor flair, perhaps, as they start here in Leicester. They have to pick up this win, though, and it is these are the rounds where that pressure could be a bit too much. Sync's caught off. This is what we're talking about.
That's heartbreaking. Dick Stacy has so much to do, almost a third kill. 3-on-3, Texa jumping out a bit early, trying to bail his teammate out. They can't do it. That B hit can be so dangerous. Right through the smoke. Twist, though, he's going to lose. Into a 2-on-2. Schneider, 11 HP, but still hasn't gotten a weapon. Now he picks one up. This
is crazy stuff. If ever you wanted, a trial by fire in your first offline event, I'm talking of fire, there are Molotovs and nades available. Still, Schneider's so low in here. They come. I like that they're staying together here. Information gathered, and it does look like we're going to OT. Oh, it's all down to Sync in that one. Yes, he's spectacular game from him, but just a little bit of over-aggression, an unnecessary strafing and flashbang dance. That's the... Oh, so tough. That right there, that round from Sync, he's had a great game this whole time, but that's why it's so difficult to be a B-bomb side defender on this map. You can spend the entire half barely ever seeing anyone come your way, outside of an op maybe trying to pick, outside of some maybe just random peek at the early stages of the round, and you always have to be prepared for the play that just happened. The players come through the smoke perfectly with the flashbang, because you could see his attention. He tries to whip up the players to react, and then he gets blind. Right. And then they just swarm him, and that's too much. Almost able to win it out in the end, but just one player getting caught off guard like that just seals it. Wow. But for Godsent, you have to be breathing a pretty deep sigh of relief as well in this. Zero doubt. Let's just quickly remind everyone how Group A does look. It is Godsent, the Darkside players you're seeing now, then Penta and E6. Now, should Godsent have conceded this game, suddenly, their chances of not meeting a team, say like Big in the semi-finals or even the quarters, that's when the going does get tough. Yeah, or at least this could be a wake-up call that's like, you're not going to be able to breeze through this tournament. I like it though. We've seen some, you can say this better than I, but Darkside have not necessarily just been playing bad CS, and Godsent have been awful. This is genuinely... This is Darkside with enough structure to rock the boat of Godsent. And you can see, the big thing, the big takeaway from this is going to be, it did take too long for Godsent to really kind of flick into that mode where it's like, we have to treat this like it's a real game. We can't just come in here and just dominate this opponent. And they let it go on. They let the disrespect, they kind of just let it go too deep into the match and make a good recovery. And now, on top of that, it's also let Darkside get some confidence, get into the game, feel comfortable. Now they're playing really well. We saw it took them about 10 rounds to really get into this match, but they're certainly here. Flix has been great. Sync's had some good rounds. I know I was just getting our boy Sniper, who we worked IEM Sydney with, just sent me a message that was saying Texa is JKS as a 16-year-old. So he's one of the players in the Australian scene that's kind of considered to be one of the next rising and upcoming stars. Okay, I like that. That's good info from Sniper. It's always good to know. Of course, JKS is someone that was I watched his 20 questions we did with a sponsor, and it was just. Yeah, it was just so interesting just to kind of hear. Basically, his story is essentially just, I was just playing the game a lot after school and I was pretty good at it. And then I was like, hey, do you want to come to Europe and play the game? I was like, yeah, all right. Yeah, no, he's just so chill. I remember his first event when he came into Renegades JKS. This is when it was a Gfinity. Yeah. And he just dominated. Renegades didn't do anything spectacular at the event as a team, but individually, it was all eyes were just the takeaway from that event was Renegades now have a star player. Yes, and indeed, that's word on the street that's what Texa is. Taking perhaps a little bit of a detour, currently bottom of the scoreboard, not necessarily something to be criticized of, though. You can see they've all been, providing there is not someone really standing out from the crowd. Same amount of frags as none other than Lecro as well. But here we go. It is overtime. MR3 10K, the rules. And I was going to say, this Pronox considering another quick ramp play. He previously found himself Tetris and entering early. That was super sick when he did that. Yeah. That was really nice. Now, Texa smoked himself out for an underpass peek. I quite like that. Ooh, initial, immediate dink. I think Schneider would have gone for the repeat if he didn't take that dink early on. Had an opponent out in the open. Could have been a fight he wanted, but good play from Texa, especially to fall back afterwards. The damage is done. Don't chase down the kill. Don't get over-eager based on the dink. Now, is someone watching his ramp, or is he just being incredibly ballsy? Incredibly ballsy. Man, oh man. No, nade does tickle Pronax, but that's not going to make him budge. It does seem like the CTs are a little antsy, moving around. We've seen it a couple times. When Godsent kind of really started on their T side to really do this execute-heavy strategy and silence early on, Darkside feels very uncomfortable with it, but that's a nice pick from Badge. And no one else following up with Pronax. Yeah, we talk about untraded frags. That's brutal. They throw a double flash for him. AWP unaffected, and now Darkside are just piling up the bodies. That's a second. Schneider falls, of course, finishing the work we saw Texa start. And Disco has no utility to use, no nades or anything like that. He could have very easily died there. Now they have the information. He's made his way up. Got to be careful. There is a player that can peek from window. Not even. Oh, that sucks. Disco, that was so close. Now Sync. He knows they can push through smoke, so he's going to find a prime example right there as the bodies continue to drop. This could be a perfect round. It is! What better way for Darkside to start? They've started every half, including this one, let's call it a half, with a round win. The pistols, and now they find themselves in a flawless start. And an MR310K, not losing a single weapon, does actually, believe it or not, have his advantages. You can keep those AWPs flowing.
Well, especially as the CT as well. If you lose that first round, if you lose the first two, your third round is just pistols only.
Right.
So it's very, very dicey economically for the CT side of things. Godsent that round a little bit too individual. They strayed back a little bit too far in the spectrum and just kind of Prodax going for a one-on-one with a flashbang, and then Schneider following it up at 14 HP. That's not going to do anything.
So, the triple flashes into middle, and Badge, this is the second time he's been unaffected by their pushes, or rather their flash pushes. Still, he's forced out of window because of the underpass's positioning. They are, however, ready and waiting for this. 3 Ts in middle, quite reminiscent of what Darkside were working on their T side, but Dig Stacy, are you really going to expect Doppler from that angle? That's the question. No sound made. Stacy has made noise though, and that's going to avert Disco's gaze for a while.
He wants to go for it. Look at him. He wants to hunt that down. Not doing it quite yet, but
He's
it is
hearing the scope.
I know. It is full mid control as well for Godsent. This is going to be really nice. They have a lot of different options available to them. Looks more than anything it'll be a split towards that B bomb site. Maybe the 2 players in connector applying some pressure over towards A.
Dig Stacy's got a pass with flying colours here. Here comes the flash as he knows it's about to go down. He has to find the head quick, but Doppler does that. And now Sync, about to be converged on by 3 different Swedish players. First, though, it's going to be a test towards Pronax. Passes that bomb loose. Can't find the second because that's a very swift trade from Necro. And it falls to Tex that he can't do anything as the bodies just pile up. Look at that. 3 quick frags from Godsent to get that rebuttal, that responsive round, and keep things level. 16 to 16.
That round's why mid control is so important. It's like a tiered attack from Godsent. Once they take mid control, working their way up catwalk, getting that 1 kill, but it's the player in connector that's so difficult because the A players want to try and peek through connector to help their teammates on catwalk, or they want to try and rotate that way, and you just have someone in there just lurking, just catching them off guard. It's so difficult to handle. That's why you need to have eyes on mid. That's why it is so important to control it so that you're not susceptible to that kind of an attack.
They're cautious of an aggressive underpass, and talking of aggressive flicks, already been caught off.
There's that missed A ramp smoke again.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Huge gap in that one.
They've been doing it repeatedly. Yeah, it's almost like it's. My theory was that it was a strategy. Perhaps not. Doppler caught off though, not expecting Twist to have his eyes elsewhere. I imagine that was Twist's responsibility to look towards short with his AWP, and he is doing so now, perhaps a little late. And the mistakes are coming out. A missed ramp smoke, a little missed flash. It is just those slight, micro errors that are going to start adding up.
Well, now they don't have control of the A bomb site. They've rotated away from it, so now a little bit of panic is going to set in. Dig Stacy might do an over peek here. Pronax is getting into a perfect position, though. Lecro watching for this peek. They still don't have information. They know the A bomb site is likely the one being under attack. They just don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, this is tough. Now, nades will rain out. There's plenty of kits. We're not going to see them fall into that same trap. Now, they know one sandwich. It is an AWP, though, and it's going to go straight through the box. This will be Godsent's round, and it does seem like Darkside have been slightly kind of sent into a spin by this overtime.
Yeah, that was
It's not
tough.
the same setups, is it? It's not the same Darkside we saw, at least not in those last 2 rounds.
It's also, I mean, they're also getting a different look than what the Godsent gave them in the regulation. It's like a little bit more denial of information. Godsent's not just running somewhere and deathmatching and taking fights. This is still that kind of style where they have a lot of silence in the mid-round. They're not giving up a lot of information, and that's where the inexperience is really going to shine. How you rotate, how you find information without being, susceptible to just being killed. And you can see, once it gets to the mid-round, once Godsent makes their moves in these 3-on-3s, all 3 kills come so quickly. It's just like a waterfall.
Yeah, something to be noted as well is that, a recurring theme as of late for Godsent's performance, not only have they been struggling, I mean, I think it was for 5 wins to the last 18 games they've played online and offline, but also, Pronax has had a kind of a mad spree of just underperforming and underfragging. He is not doing that here. He has been, we've even seen him walking into sites on his own, getting those entries, so...
It's been quiet, actually. Every time I see the scoreboard pop up, I am surprised to see him with like 23 kills. You haven't seen too many, but it's just like the 1 or 2 here and there.
They come in.
Yep.
Influential all the same, but still he is, doing enough for Godsent to have a full 5 players on that scoreboard, and that's a start for them in this tournament. The second half, though, of our first overtime here for our very first game of the day. Day 1 of the Mountain Dew League Finals.
In the first half in regulation, when Godsent was on CT, was like 2 completely different stories. Because remember, it was like an 8-round run for Godsent when they went up 8-1, and then it was the catch-up. It ended 6-9 in the favor of Godsent, but 5 rounds at the end of that half for Darkside very, very quickly. So which half are we going to see? And Darkside remembers the mid-aggression. Look how far back they're playing. Badge and Dick Stacy are just waiting for it.
Yeah, this is just rinse and repeat. It is that double push up middle. Both playing anti-flash. I imagine Schneider's responsibility is going to be to chuck one over there. Yep, it is in his hand now. And there is going to be a counter flash as well. This is interesting. Here they go, though.
Oh no!
They line up!
Oh, Lord.
Oh, sit down. Pronax and Doppler. There is a ring in after that one. Dick Stacy just gifted almost a free round at this point. Look at that. Legcrow's last man standing. That is a tough pill to swallow. And
Oh my God.
he's got to try and recover something.
You hate to see it, don't you? It was so cool as well because it's actually a really, really nice setup from Godsent. It's mid-aggression, but it's not in your face, right? They're waiting for that exact play because they've gotten up far back and they've got, I think Pronax was the first on ramp. Pronax and Schneider there, just ready to pounce whenever they swing wide. Everything they wanted occurred. Everything, because they even were turned the other way for the pop flash.
Perfect, yeah.
It's just they line up and they're all gone.
Wow, that's crazy. And now Badge has got a spurt of confidence and it's going to be muted swiftly by Twist. A second as well. Just after they got some degree of control, it's taken away from them. But are punishing some hyper-aggression. Smoke's going to be raining in then from the CTs. That's going to leave Dick Stacy rather lost in middle. There's a, it's rock hard place kind of territory here. He can't go back up middle. He knows that. There's window player present. Sinks on his backside watching towards short. And so things are going to fall silent for a while.
Pretty cool call for Darkside with the aggression towards A ramp. They haven't done that a whole lot. And with an AWP with an advantage in overtime, you might catch him off guard. Twist is ready for it, though. Bit unfortunate how it turned out for him. And now, I mean, Dick Stacy has been a hero at different rounds. So is Flicks. So they've got some players up. I mean, Sync has 30 kills in this game.
All 3 of them, actually.
They've got the big 3 impact players alive at the moment.
Doppler is so ready for this, and that's, I mean, you would not expect this. How on earth? Doppler's pieced the pieces together. Yep, he has.
I like that.
Yeah. And now Flicks does exactly what it says on the tin. Can't quite find the second just yet, but Schneider is going to fall to Sync, and so, at the very least, we could have a bomb plan, but there's aggression from Doppler. Surely not. Will this really be the 2 versus 4 in overtime versus Godsent? Is that really a thing? Twist. Oh, I like the angle. He is going to be able to catch Sync should he go for it. I mean, that is something you want.
This is a dirty angle.
There's no pre-aim there, I'll tell you that. No, he's fallen off it. And Pronax low. Is that enough for Flicks to finish the job, though? He knows where Pronax is, but I think the information is mutual. He's going to get pushed by the 2 players, and it's not quite good enough for the connection. Couldn't take Pronax out of that 3. We talked about his fragging, and Pronax is responsible for the 18th.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a really nice find from Pronax, but it's actually unreal that Godsent even gets put in that position. Even that round where Pronax doesn't have a kit because they want to save up some money just in case they had lost it. I mean, have anything you can in the last round, but either way, Godsent now on match point. That is such a nice take from Darkside, but you could see the difference. I mean, that 3rd player that Godsent loses, I think that was Schneider rotating over.
Doppler was the one pushing through window. Do you mean? Oh, Schneider was the one on truck. Yeah.
Okay, I meant the 3rd player rotating through kitchen. So whoever that was,
Doppler died, yeah.
you could see. If that's Darksided in that kind of a situation, we see how patiently they play it. He was just trying to get into the bomb site, trying to make a play before they're ready for it, and that almost cost them the round.
And this is where their fate lies. Darksided, you've worked so hard. Blood, sweat, tears, and a couple of mouse clicks have got you to 17-18. However, it could all be taken away. All that hard work will just be a result on hltv.org unless you can get yourself this one round. The next 1 minute and 20 seconds will determine whether or not the Aussies can continue to rock this boat. The Viking raft, they're currently sailing through Leicester.
Well,
what's the play here? I mean, they have kind of not found anything yet. Are they considering that A execute? I mean, that's what do you feel about what can you possibly do here? You can't pick up the pace. You don't have that confidence, and oh no. You don't expect this, do you?
Oh, the ball's on Twist to make that play through the smoke as well. Pop flash behind him. That's going to delay things. He can get in a new position. Spam through the smoke, trying to fall away. Now he's got no backup, no bullets. The fire forces him away, but Pronax is here. Disco Doppler as well with the AWP. They've shut down this hit, and that might be it. Nice pop flash. Texta can't handle it, and that's going to be it. Darkside has come so far, but they falter right at the end.
It's brutal. Sync will not be able to close it. Godsent will pick up the win. A very hard-earned victory for Godsent. Perhaps a wake-up call will be the word we use as we recap the day at the end of it.
See that classic Pronax smile, though.
Yeah.
Missed that.
That was I think bullet dodged is going to be the kind of the vibe there from Godsent. They have that Pro League spot. This is not only is it a proving ground for them, it's also like, you know, you are in David versus Goliath, you are Goliath, and you know how that story ends. You know, you can't really win.